How much do you know about the Fox Body Mustang? Well, today we're going to take a look at it and find out why it's so damn cool. So why is the Fox Body so cool? I'm going to tell you. But before I do, make sure you hit that subscribe button, the little bell next to it, give it a thumbs up. The Fox Body Mustang has probably one of the largest automotive cult followings out there. Why? Why is this car so cool? I'm going to tell you. This car ran from 79 all the way to 93. 14 years. That is a long time to be running on the same platform. I guess Ford figured if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And it wasn't. The first few years of the Fox Body really weren't that impressive. They had a plethora of different engines ranging from 4 cylinders, 4-cylinder turbos, 6 cylinders, dual spark plug 6 cylinders, you name it, it was under the hood. 86 to 93 was probably the most popular of all the Fox Bodies. This car had 225 horsepower out of a fuel-injected 302. Now I know that does not sound like a lot, but what made this car quick is they only weighed between 3,100 and 3,250 pounds, depending on the model and equipment. That's light. We all know horsepower sells cars. Torque wins races, and that is something the Fox Body had a ton of. 300 pound-feet of tire shredding torque. Although it only had 225 horsepower, it didn't put out blistering quarter-mile times, but with that much torque on the street, you were going to have a hard time beating it. 0 to 60 in this car were right around 6 seconds, which is really quick for back then. In 1987, the car went through a whole restyle. New front end, a much needed new interior, and it came in 3 different models. The LX Coupe, the LX Hatchback, and the GT model. 87, they came out the E7 heads, which they actually took from the truck line because they found out the swirl ports they were using in the 86 cars just weren't cutting it for performance reasons. The interior of these cars were actually really nice for back then. You're talking late 80s. Style for the interior was very bland in many cars, but Ford actually stepped up and put a decent interior in these cars. It even came with leather and power seats. In 93, Ford went from the forged aluminum piston to the hypertectic piston. I don't know why, it doesn't seem right, but it dropped the horsepower to 205 and the torque down to 285. Boo. But it's still a great car. It kept it at 9-to-1 compression, which is amazing if you want to slap a supercharger on this thing. 93 was also an incredible year because they came out with the SVT Cobra. It's like taking the Mustang and putting it on steroids. The Cobra wasn't just an appearance package. This thing really packed a punch. It's very underrated at 235 horsepower and 280 pound-feet of torque. Probably for insurance reasons. Unlike the base Mustang, the Cobra came with a 65mm throttle body as opposed to the smaller 60mm throttle body. It had a bigger cam. It also had GT40 high flow cylinder heads and 1.7 roller rockers as opposed to the 1.6 that are on the base Mustang. And to feed that motor were a bigger set of 24-pound injectors. This thing screamed. It ran a quarter mile in mid to low 14s at 98 miles an hour and ran 0 to 60 in about 5.5 seconds. This was really quick for 93. Production of the Cobra was very limited though, and they only came in 3 colors: vibrant red, teal, and black. Now if that wasn't enough, Ford upped the ante again with a 93 Cobra R. Race model. The Cobra R came with larger brakes, Coney shocks and struts, oil coolers, power steering cooler, rear seat delete, and a 14% underdrive pulley set. Didn't come with AC and didn't come with a stereo. Not even an option. Because race car. So there's the stats. But why is the car still so popular? The aftermarket world for these cars are massive. There are so many aftermarket parts for this car, so many companies that make them, and they are so ridiculously cheap. I mean, they're like half the price to modify than a Camaro or Firebird or Corvette or anything else out there. Those 5-liter motors responded so well to them. You didn't need much to make them go fast. Only 9-to-1 compression, these things took the superchargers like a baby to milk. There was no stopping you at that point. These things put out so much power, and that's why these cars are still cool today. Every street racer, drag racer, road racer, it doesn't matter. These cars are cheap and easy to modify. If you're into drag racing, they're lightweight, you can make them go fast. If you're into road racing, you can put lowering springs on them, some wider tires, a little bit better suspension, and go tearing down the track, ripping up some good lap times. This is why the Mustang is so cool. I personally own 3 of these cars. I have modified them. For drag racing, I've modified them for road racing. I've done a little bit of everything, but there's nothing about these cars that aren't cool. Alright guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.